So yes, I'm Andrew Harrison. I'm the CEO of Diamond Light Source. Some of you may know us. Some of you may even have visited us. So if you take the A34 south of here, past the Milton Roundabout near Didcot, it's that big silver building about the size of Wembley Stadium. Under that roof, we produce brilliant light that is 10 billion times brighter than the sun, and that light feeds a set of microscopes with which people can look at materials in the most exquisite detail. And that sort of facility is bigger than any individual university can own, so it's a national facility. We support about 10,000 scientists every year from universities and industry. We have about 120 companies who pay for access to our facility because it's crucial to their R&D. So locally, for example, we have Infinium just down the road from us who make fuel additives. We have Milton Park packed full of high-tech companies for whom we are a crucial part of their R&D program. And I also have about 650 staff. So impressive though the machine is, the crucial ingredient for us is to be able to employ some of the most talented and highly experienced people in areas with very rare skills. Now I'm going to digress a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own journey here because I think it's very relevant for this. So I was born down the road at the old John Radcliffe. I'm a local boy, although my accent doesn't sound like it anymore because I've been away a lot. I was a student here. I did my doctorate here, and then I went out into the world and I was a professor of chemistry for a while. And in the course of my research for 20 years or so, I would travel the world and I would use facilities like Diamond as a core part of my research in Canada, in the US, in Japan, and throughout Europe. And then in 2006, I had the opportunity to become director of a facility that the UK co-owns in our twin town of Grenoble. So a research facility in Grenoble. And one reason why I leapt at the chance was not just because it was an interesting new job, but because I could take my entire family with me. They knew that they could settle in another country without any impediment. My wife would have the right when she arrived to go and get a job. I would not have made that transition to the United States, for example, and anticipated the challenges that she would have had to continue in her own career. So from my perspective, it was absolutely crucial that I could take that step. And then in 2014, I was fortunate to get this particular post, and I travelled back. One incentive was so that my children could grow up as native English speakers, and I just note in passing that we contributed +5 to the immigration statistics that year. It was there was more, I suppose, more anxiety about immigration statistics in 2014 compared to 2006, but nevertheless, we were one of those people who entered this country again and made our homes here again. And coming back to Diamond and why our association with Europe in its current form is so important to us, I'll just make 3 brief points. First of all, science by its nature is a highly cooperative business. A large proportion of the science that we support is done in collaboration. Well, it's done by people, very bright people coming from universities, increasingly in large multinational teams, and often that is supported by funds from the European Commission. So first of all, one of the challenges that we would face after a Brexit that made it harder to remain part of that community is to try to re-establish the ties, try to re-establish the networks on which an awful lot of the science that we deliver is founded. Secondly, facilities like Diamond rely on cutting-edge technology. I mean, you imagine a mobile phone in your pocket. Very few of you, I imagine, have got a 10-year-old phone. I think you're used to replacing the technology in your pocket or the technology in your everyday life every few years, and Diamond is just like that. We have to remain at the technological edge to be competitive and give the UK science community the best possible opportunities to continue to do cutting-edge science. And our future plans at the moment and for the last few years have depended on collaborative networks across Europe to develop the next generation technology. These also require very rare skills that are generally not concentrated in any one country. And again, you could say, why not go global? Well, we have spent decades building up
highly intricate networks and understanding where our key complementary strengths lie. And to have that become much more difficult would be very, very disruptive. And of course, in principle, we can go and forge new links with other countries, but there would certainly be a long break before we got back to the position we're in. Thirdly, and this is really the crucial thing, and it comes back to my own story, is the thing on which we most depend is highly skilled scientists, engineers, and technicians. And we're already starting to see people leaving, telling me to my face, the reason I have left is because I don't feel the UK is a country I want to stay in anymore with me and my family. And that isn't just, actually, paradoxically, the first person to leave Diamond who cited Brexit, or impending Brexit as the reason, was a UK national. We also have found it harder to attract people. And I remember going to Sweden recently, and a number of my colleagues in Sweden saying, Andrew, Brexit's wonderful for us. We've seen a real surge in applications of UK-based scientists for jobs in this case, Sweden, but I'm sure that pattern is reproduced elsewhere. So attracting and retaining people is already becoming harder for us. And I'd say the reverse process is important too. So a large fraction of my UK scientists have cut their teeth, have got their experience, like I did, by travelling abroad and working in those other facilities. Now again, that can be done internationally, but it's much easier, and the density of facilities in which one can do that, to be able to cross relatively close borders, relocate. I could jump on a train in Oxford and I could be in Brussels in 4 hours, and I can work for 3 hours of that on a train, provided I can actually work on the train between here and Paddington. But the point is, these are all places that are very, very easy to get to, and the proximity, even in this globally connected world, also makes a difference. We all have more extended families. I have aging parents, and we don't necessarily want to go and relocate to China and Japan and the United States when we seek to be part of that global community. So for us, I think actually the key thing is to continue to ensure that the UK offers a welcoming home for those scientists, engineers and technicians on which our future strengths, at least in Diamond, will rest. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful.